Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today I got a package from a company called ALLPOWERS, and they sent me their power station, and it's the S300 portable power station. I think we're going to go ahead and open it up and see what's inside. Okay, so let's open it up. Okay. All right, and it looks like here we have the official box. So let's go ahead and open this up. Oh, look at that.
It's beautiful.
All right, the first thing we see is some sort of, looks like some sort of accessory bag. And this bag has the charging brick and the AC charger that plugs into it. So this is all the stuff that we need for charging it through a wall AC outlet. All right, and then we have, it looks like to be a user manual, and it looks like it's in several different languages. And it just goes through the basic stuff of how to charge it, how to use it, wireless charging, storage and maintenance, application reference guide, so it kind of gives you an idea of how long you can run each of these devices depending on their wattage. All right. And now there's a nice big piece of foam covering the top.
And then there's the beauty. The battery!
All right.
It's so hard to get out. Let's put this foam off to not drop it. Not one of them.
Okay. All right, and here is the power station.
Nice.
Okay, first I just want to let you know that the weight of this device is it's only 3.4 kilograms, which is 7.6 pounds. And its dimensions are 8.1 inches by 6.5 inches by 4.3 inches. And this contains a 288 watt-hour battery. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about this ALLPOWERS portable power station. First of all, with the AC, there are two AC receptacles on the top. They give out a total of 300 watts of AC power. I believe it's 110 volts at 60 hertz. And it also does a 500 watt surge. It also has two LED lights that work independently. And on the front, it also has a small display and 3 buttons. Now, actually, when I'm first looking at this, even from there, you can't really see what these buttons say. So that's one thing I noticed right away that I'm not really a fan of, is that you can't really see what the buttons say on there. It makes it look more sleek, but then you're kind of fumbling around to see which button does what. So let's go ahead and press, this one says AC, and if you only press it for a second, it doesn't do anything. I think you have to long press it to actually turn it on. Okay, yep, this thing isn't turning on at all. All right, well, how about we go ahead and plug it in? I wouldn't think that the battery would be dead right out of the box. All right, we're getting the AC brick out. Let's go ahead and put it together. Okay, the AC brick does have a little green light right here, so it does tell us that it's getting power. And on this side of the power station, there's an input right here. And there is a barrel plug and an Anderson plug. So we're going to go ahead and use the barrel plug to plug it in. Okay, let's plug it in, see what happens. And it does show that the battery is at 0, which I don't think it should be. I believe all power stations are supposed to be, maybe between 40 and 60% for shipping reasons. So I'm very surprised this is at 0. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and let this charge up to 100%, and then we'll come back and talk about it some more. Okay, now that I have this thing charged up to 100%, let's go ahead and go over this thing in detail. First of all, it has 2 AC outlets. They can power up to 300 watts with a 500 watt surge, I guess you could say. And it does say that it's pure sine wave. So how about we go ahead and plug in a 300 watt load to see if it can power it. And let's check the sine wave to make sure that that's true as well. Okay, first let me show you how to actually turn on the AC, because you can't just press the button. It doesn't do anything. You have to hold it down for 3 seconds. All right, and as soon as it turns on, the fan that's inside turns on as well. And it stays on. It doesn't turn off at any point. It only turns off when you turn the AC off. So that's something that will take up extra energy. So you don't want to have this thing just turned on the AC with nothing plugged in for no reason, because it will wipe out the battery a lot quicker than it would be if the AC was not on. And speaking of the battery, you can see on the display, it's pretty neat. Like right now, it shows that with the AC on and nothing plugged in, this can run for 52 hours and 53 minutes until it's dead. If you turn this off, it automatically adjusts, and now it says that it has a standby time of 143 hours and 7 to 8 minutes. If you turn the DC on, it automatically lowers down because the DC part is functioning, and it's already down to 110 hours and 20 minutes. So you can see right on the screen how much time you have left. Okay, let's turn the DC off, turn the AC back on, plug in something. Our voltage right now is 108.7, and we're running at 61 hertz. So let's try to find a 300 watt load that we can test this with. Okay, what I found is a heat gun right here. So let's go ahead and turn on this heat gun. Put it on low. And you can see that it is running at 289.2 watts. And on the screen down here, it actually says that it's running 285 watts. So that is pretty accurate. I'm pretty happy about that. I'm just going to let this run for a while, just to make sure it can run this load for a good minute or two. And also, while this is running, I noticed that on the screen, it can run this load. On the screen, it says for 38 minutes. And it's already down to 95%. All right, it's been running this load for a couple minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and say that's a good pass. It can sustain up to 300 watts. But let's see what happens if I just go ahead and crank up this heat gun. Will it automatically just shut off, or how long will it last? So ready? Yeah. There we go. And the AC inverter, it beeps a few times and then it just shuts off. So that's a good thing. All right, I got my little sine wave monitor here, so let's go ahead and turn on the AC. And you can see that we got a nice pure sine wave. All right, now that we got the AC side out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about the DC part of this. Like I said before, all you have to do for the DC is just touch it and turn it on. The buttons do light up. I said before how I don't really like how the symbols on the buttons are practically hidden when they're turned off. You can easily see them when they're on, but when they're off, they're not very easy to recognize. So let's go ahead and turn the DC on. When it comes to DC power, you have two DC outputs right here. These are 5520. Actually, I think these are 5525s. I would have thought that would be 5521 barrel plugs, but they're 5525s. And then we have three USB-A slots and a USB-C power delivery. And I believe this power delivery is a 60 watt maximum. What's nice about this is that you can use it to charge your devices and you can use this power delivery to charge this device. So it works in both ways. And then on this side of the device, you have your 12 volt cigarette lighter adapter, and then you have your two inputs. Here is a 5521 barrel plug input for your AC, your solar, for your DC cigarette lighter, and then also you have your Anderson connectors on this side. And the last thing about the DC side of this is that it does have a wireless charger on top. So how about we go ahead and check out the voltages on these, see if they're regulated up to like 13 or 14 volts, or if they're just going to be a standard 12 volt unregulated port. And then I think I'm going to go ahead and try out the cigarette lighter adapter with my my vacuum to see if it will actually power that vacuum, because there aren't too many things that I've tried so far that have. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, while I was I'm trying to test this cigarette lighter port, and this little rubber grommet thing that covers the port, which is, it's nice that it's on here, but I had a lot of problems getting it off. I mean, it's on there good. I actually had to use a pair of pliers to get it out. And then also the handle. The handle doesn't just pop off. You know, it doesn't just open. It's like stuck on there. I mean, you really have to pry it open. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because that is a lot harder than it really should be. See, and like if it falls down, it doesn't just fall flat. I mean, you could almost slam it down, and look at that, it's still not going down all the way. I mean, you have to press it down. So that's up to you on whether you like that or not. To me, I like to be able to grab it, and I like to be able to handle it. I like to be able to grab it with one hand, and the handle just pop up. All right, let's check our 12 volt voltage. And how I'm going to do that is I've got this cigarette lighter adapter wired up to a barrel plug that's actually wired to two alligator clips. And these are just going to clip, they're going to clip right onto the probes of my multimeter, and we'll be able to see what the voltage is. Let's turn it on. And look at that, our voltage is actually 13.38. So that means this has regulated DC outputs, which is a great thing. And let's go ahead and test the other barrel ports to make sure they're 13.38 as well. Okay, and like I said before, we're going to go ahead and check these DC outputs to make sure that they are 13.38 as well. But these are 5525 barrel plugs, and all I had were 5521s. So I'm going to have to use this adapter, which is a 5521 female to 5525 male. So let's go ahead and put that on here. And we're going to put it right into this output. And it goes again to alligator clips. So we're going to go ahead and clip them on to my multimeter. Okay, let's go ahead and turn it on. Turn on the voltage. Set it to set it to DC. Turn on the light. Okay, so I guess right now you can read that. It's actually showing voltage. It's showing 4 volts right now. So that must be like the regulator that's inside. It must be slowly powering down. So I'm guaranteeing that these are regulated as well. But let's go ahead and turn on the DC. Yep, and there it goes back up to 13.37. So again, that is a pass in my book. But to make it a true pass, I'm going to plug in a pretty hefty DC handheld vacuum, and we'll see if this thing can power it. Now, I know I've used this before for other DC cigarette lighter tests, but I can't remember for the life of me what it draws. I want to say it draws like 10 amps at 12 volts, but we're just going to try it and see if it works. So let's go ahead and plug it in. All right, it's on. Okay, ready? Let's try it. All right, it is working. You can see on the screen that it's using 100 watts of power. And it can run this for an hour and 37 minutes. And you can see that the battery has 89% left. Okay, so far I am pretty impressed with this unit. I also have this cigarette lighter to barrel plug adapter. I'm not sure what size it is, but we're just gonna see if we can hook it up and see if we can run this vacuum from these DC barrel ports over here. Plug it in over here. Ready? See if it works. Uh-oh. Okay. Okay, so the DC output on the barrel plugs is different than the DC output on the cigarette lighter. After referring to the manual, I quickly read that these DC ports, these 5525s over here, they can only pump out 5 amps at 12 volts. So it did exactly what it's supposed to. Once the DC power gets too high, the unit automatically shuts off. So that's good. Let's go ahead and see if the wireless charger on top works. Okay, I've got my Note 20 Ultra phone here. I'm going to just go ahead and set it on top. And when I turn on the DC charger, the phone should light up saying that it's charging. All right, here we go. All right, it is trying to work, but my phone does have this bulbous camera part on the back, so it's not laying flat. So you can't just set your phone on it and it starts working. Just to prove that my phone is wireless charging, let me just turn on this blue LED, and you can see right away that it starts fast charging. So you can see it right there. So here, let me do it again. And see, it just starts charging right away. Yeah. So I don't know if it's because my phone has this extended part of the camera that sticks out that makes it so it's not laying flat. But keep that in mind if you want to use this as a wireless charger. Your phone will probably have to be on the flat side. But I did hear it click on a few times. So I know that it's trying to work, but it just doesn't work with Note 20 Ultras. I just want to show the voltage on the USB port. And it's exactly 5.06 volts. I don't have any way of measuring the power delivery port. So what we're going to go ahead and do is move on to the input side of things. So we're going to go ahead and charge this thing back up to full. First, we're going to charge it with just the AC outlet, and then we're going to charge it with both the AC outlet and the power delivery port and see what we can get as a max power that this thing can accept. Okay, and right on the plug, you can see right here, it says that the output of this brick is 20 volts at 3 amps. So we should expect to get pretty much, this thing will accept 60 watts through the AC port over here. And then it does say it has a 60 watt power delivery port. So let's go ahead and see what we get from the AC. Okay, so let's go ahead and plug it in. All right, and it switches over and it starts to show the amount of watts going into the unit. It also shows the battery indicator going up. Let's turn off the DC side here. All right, it looks like it's maxing out at around 54 watts. That's all that it's, oh, 55, we got 55. But it looks like it's not gonna get up to 60, I'm guessing. So we'll just say 55 watts. So let's go ahead and plug in the power delivery and see if we can give it more juice. All right, and here we go, I'm plugging it in. And this should accept 60 watts. All right, there we go. It's starting to bump up. All right, it looks like it's getting up to 117 watts. So if I unplug the AC side, you see it's dropping back down. And it looks like it's accepting 62 watts. And our other charger over here is showing that it's outputting 59 watts. So that's pretty close. So let's go ahead and plug this back in. While this is charging, let's go ahead and plug in something on the AC side to see if it can run an AC appliance and charge at the same time. The screen right here does say that it's at 100% full, but this Blue Eddy over here says that it's still outputting 59 watts. So let's go ahead and plug in our heat gun and see what the screen says after that. Okay, the AC actually turned on. I heard the fan turn on. And we're going to go ahead and set this to low. And remember before, I think it ran at like 290 watts. So let's see what the screen says with everything, with the AC plugged in and this running. You can see that all it shows that that it's using 286 watts. But I noticed that the Blue Eddy over here is still showing that it's outputting 57 watts. So the heat gun's running, and it says that it's using 286 watts right now. The battery is going down, but the battery does show that it's charging by going up like that. It is plugged into the AC, which is using 67.6 watts. And it's also plugged into the Blue Eddy. And the Blue Eddy is showing that it is also giving it 56 watts. So it's actually giving it 121 watts. And we're taking 286. So it definitely can charge itself and discharge itself through the AC ports at the same time. Well, I'm going to go ahead and let this thing charge up all the way. And then I'm going to do a capacity test on the AC side, and I'm going to do a capacity test on the DC side. So that way we can see how efficient the AC and the DC outputs are. All right, everyone. Well, I have done the capacity tests. Actually, I've done the AC capacity test, and the DC capacity test is just finishing up right now. But let me show you what I did to do the AC capacity test. What I did was I plugged in this little 200 watt heater and I let it run until the unit shut off. And I had it plugged into this energy meter right here. So let's go ahead and turn it on and see what our results were. 236 watts. And remember that the total capacity in watt hours of the ALLPOWERS unit is 288 watt hours. So if we divide 236 divided by 288, we get 81.9%. Now, anything above 80 is really good when it comes to portable power stations. We're going to wait for the DC to get done, and we'll find out what our efficiency is on that. But let me go ahead and show you how I'm doing the DC test. The DC test is being run right now through this 12-volt cigarette lighter adapter, and it's going wired down into this plug which I've made that goes to crocodile clips, and those clips go to my battery tester, which is a 20 amp ZKE Tech battery tester. And so I've got it hooked to my computer right now, and you can actually see it currently running. This is this line is the amount of amps that I'm pulling from it, which is right at 5. And this is the voltage line right here. And you can see that the voltage line was right around 11.6 to 11.5, 11.6 for most of the time. And you can see now that it's starting to drop off. Down here, you can see that the total energy that we've been consuming is 216 watt hours. So hopefully we have, at least 20 more watt hours to go. But I will let you know when this test is done. All right, it looks like the DC test just completed, so let's look at our numbers. And we are looking at right here, which is 218.61 watt hours is what we got out of it. So 218 watt hours divided by the total capacity of 288 is 75.9%. So 75.9% capacity efficiency on the DC side. I wish it was a little bit better, but that's the numbers I got. Okay, so what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and charge this thing back up. And while it's charging, we are going to go ahead and open up the app, because this unit does support Bluetooth and it has its own app. So we're going to find out what all we can do with that. Okay, while I was waiting for the DC test to end, I went ahead and downloaded the app. You can find the app on either the Apple Play Store or the Google Play Store. They also have QR codes in the manual itself to make it a lot easier. They are right there. So I went ahead and just scanned the QR code, and it went right to the Play Store for me. So I went ahead and downloaded it. So let's see if we can connect to this ALLPOWERS power station. I just opened up the app. I'll put it on the screen right over here. And this is what it comes up to when you first open the app. You can see that there's no Wi-Fi devices, there's no Bluetooth devices, and I'm guessing you just hit the plus sign to add one of those. This is a Bluetooth device, so what we're going to do is first we're going to turn on the Bluetooth on the ALLPOWERS power station. You do that by holding down the Bluetooth button until it turns on. There we go. The Bluetooth button is now on. You can see that it's green. And what we're going to do on the screen is we're going to hit the plus sign for Bluetooth device. It says step 1, turn on the phone's Bluetooth function and make sure the phone's positioning is turned on. Okay, it does say to allow location, so we're going to go ahead and do that. Allow. And it found the ALLPOWERS S300 version 2.0. So we'll go ahead and click on that. Okay, and there we go, it connected. You can see that the input is 52 watts. The output, there is none because we don't have anything plugged into it right now. You can see on here that there is the AC and the DC. And you can actually turn on the AC and the DC from the app. So if I click on this, you can see that the AC turned on. Let's turn it off. And if you click on this, you see the DC turned on. So you can do everything. You can do everything from the app that you can actually do from the device. You can actually turn on the lights too, which is kind of nice. So all in all, the app is very simple, but it does exactly what you need. I mean, it turns on and off the AC and the DC ports, and you can also turn the lights on. And it also gives you the information of the device right then and there. And on here, it will also show you how long of a time you have until it's fully discharged. So it tells everything on the app that it does on the device. Okay, so what are my final thoughts of the ALLPOWERS S300 portable power station? Well, I like it. It is a very compact unit, and it actually gives plenty of power for the size that it is. The options that you have, it has a full featured set of options. You can get your AC, you have your DC ports, you have your barrel plugs. You also have your wireless charging on the top. You can charge it through a barrel plug on the side, or it does have Anderson connectors, so you can plug in right from a solar panel. I do believe that the solar panel has to be below 18 volts though. It says that an 80 watt solar panel would be best. I also like the fact that it has Bluetooth connection, so I can check the condition of the power station from across the room. I believe it does say that it has 5 to 10 meters of range. I also like the fact that these lights, they can turn on independently, and they don't go through a whole sequence. They don't do the blinking, they don't do the SOS, they're just on or they're off. Some issues that I found with this unit, first of all, with the physicality of it, getting this This out at the beginning was pretty hard, the little cover for the cigarette lighter adapter. But I found out that over time, as I'm using it, it does get easier. And then also this handle. When you first buy it, expect this handle to be very, very hard to get out. I'm finding also that it's getting easier and easier. So I think over time, this will actually work out pretty well. I think it's when this rubber starts to kind of soften up a little bit, this handle will be a lot easier to get out. Other things, the wireless charging. My phone does have wireless charging capability, but it also does have that little camera lens bump, so it doesn't lay completely flat. But even with that, I could not get a clear charging signal from the top. So I don't feel like this wireless charging is very powerful, I guess you could say. Because I was able to drop my phone right onto the Blue Eddy and it lit up immediately. So I think the wireless charging might have a little bit more to be desired, but again, I'm using a phone that doesn't lay flat, so I can't be 100% confident. When it came to the DC plugs, the manual does say that they can only support up to 5 amps, but it does say that the barrel ports on this side and the cigarette lighter on this side should only support up to 5 amps at 12 volts. Well, in our tests, you clearly saw that we were powering over 90 watts in this barrel plug. So that's over 5 amps. That's more like 8 amps. So I'm surprised that the unit didn't shut off when we were running this, when we were running that vacuum from the cigarette lighter. So I don't know if the documentation is incorrect or if there might be something wrong with the unit where it's not protecting itself from the cigarette lighter, but it is on the barrel plugs on the DC side over here. Another thing that is to be desired is the charging speed. So I do wish that the charging speed straight from the AC outlet was quicker. But I do like the fact that it does have a power delivery port on the other side, so you can charge it at double the speed if you do have the AC and the power delivery running at the same time. And when it does come to charging, you can do AC and power delivery at the same time, and it will max out. It says at 140 watts, but I was only able to get about 120. And it also says that you can power it from the Anderson plug and the power delivery port, but you cannot run it from the AC port and the Anderson port at the same time. You won't get any benefit from that. Okay, well, on that note, I think we're done reviewing the ALLPOWERS S300 power station. If you have any questions, please go ahead and leave them in the comments. If you want to look more into this ALLPOWERS unit, I'll have a link in my description, so go ahead and check it out there. Thank you so much and have a great day. Bye-bye.